If you felt scared watching the previous clip, you are most likely suffering from thalassophobia. Thalassophobia, or the fear of deep seas, is an experience that many people are terrified of even at the thought of it, and their heart rate goes up and they lose their breath. Today, we're going to explore two true stories of open water diving. Tom and Eileen Lonergan were not an ordinary couple. They quickly fell in love after meeting at Louisiana State University. A combination of intelligence, kindness, and a thirst for adventure, something that always drew admiration from those around them. They soon married and decided to dedicate their lives to meaningful work. That's why they joined the Peace Corps. They spent 2 years of their lives on the remote islands of Fiji and Tuvalu, where there was no electricity, no internet, and sometimes even drinking water had to be collected from rain. But Tom and Eileen were happy. They were together. When they returned, they decided to take some time for themselves. A memorable trip to one of the natural wonders of the world, Australia's Great Barrier Reef. That gigantic living structure visible even from space. And what better place for two enthusiastic divers? On a relatively warm January day, they, along with 26 other passengers, boarded a tourist boat bound for St. Crispin Reef, a lesser-known destination, but full of underwater wonders. Colorful corals, clear water, and strange creatures that can only be seen in BBC documentaries. After some time diving, Tom and Eileen decided to stay underwater longer and make the most of their moments. But on the surface, something happened that would change their lives forever. Two of the passengers, at the very last moment, jumped into the water one last time. They came back up, but this messed up the final count of the boat crew. No one noticed that Tom and Eileen were still underwater, and the boat simply left. When they returned to the surface, the first thing they saw was nothing. No boat, no land, not even the sound of an engine. Just the ocean in all directions to the horizon, as far as the eye could see. The water around them was calm, but their minds were not. They didn't expect to be left behind. At first, they thought the boat would return, that maybe it was a simple mistake. Maybe in a few minutes, an engine sound would be heard from afar. But no sound came. That night, the ocean grew cold. The sky darkened. The tide went up and down, and Tom and Eileen remained alone on the surface of the sea. No food, no water, no way to communicate. That area is a habitat for tiger sharks, sharks over 5 meters long, curious animals that slowly circle anything floating at night. 2 days passed, and no one noticed Tom and Eileen were missing, until the boat captain decided to collect the remaining passengers' belongings. That's when Tom and Eileen's wallet, passport, and personal items were found. Only then did they realize that the two had never returned. A search operation began with the Australian Navy. Helicopters, speedboats, divers, and even satellites were used. But time had been lost. 6 months later, Eileen's wetsuit was found 75 kilometers off the coast. It was torn, but there were no signs of blood or animal attack. More strangely, the zipper was closed, but the suit was separated from the body, a sign that supported the hypothesis of delirium due to dehydration or heat stroke. Sometimes, in conditions of death due to heat or cold, the victim experiences cognitive impairment and thinks they are burning or shivering and tries to remove their clothes. Perhaps Tom and Eileen suffered the same fate. In the summer of 2010, a 30-year-old man named Ben McDaniel decided to leave behind a painful and sorrowful past. He had recently faced financial bankruptcy, a failed career, and even the death of his younger brother. To escape all this pressure, Ben traveled from his home in Memphis, Tennessee, to southern Florida, where his parents owned a vacation home. Nearby, there was a natural spring called Vortex Spring. The spring had clear, pristine water, and beneath its surface lay a massive, winding limestone cave. Many divers visited the area, But the main section of the cave was so dangerous that it was locked behind an iron gate. Only certified cave divers were allowed access. But Ben didn't have that certification. He had dived in the spring many times before, and according to staff, he would sometimes secretly and persistently beg to be let past the gate. Some even said Ben was trying to create a map of the cave. On the evening of August 18, 2010, Ben entered the water for the last time. Surveillance cameras showed he had full diving gear. No one knew it would be the last time he was seen. When night came and he hadn't returned, no one was alarmed. He often dived late into the evening. But the next morning, Ben's car was still in the parking lot. His non-diving belongings, his phone, wallet, and dry clothes were still in the trunk. That meant he had never come back out of the water. When rescue divers arrived, they started their search in the cave. The first step was passing through the locked gate. Many expert divers, including the legendary Ed Sorensen, repeatedly descended into the depths. Sorensen, who had recovered the bodies of dozens of lost divers in dire conditions, said this time there was nothing. No air bubbles, no signs of struggle, no damage to the rocks, and most importantly, no body. He said, if Ben was down there, I would have found him. The search went as deep as 500 meters. Divers faced real, life-threatening danger. The inside of the cave was extremely narrow, winding, and pitch black. A single wrong move could seal the way back. Yet not a glove, a mask piece, or even a single bubble of air was found. People started speculating. Did Ben get stuck in a narrow crevice that no one else could reach? Did he stage his own death? Did he ever enter the cave at all? Could it have been murder, with his body never in the water? Or maybe Ben, fully aware that no one would ever find him, deliberately entered one of the most unknown places on Earth? Interestingly, his family offered a $30,000 reward for anyone who could recover Ben's body. But even that didn't tempt the most daring divers. Everyone said, it's not worth it down there. If he's still in there, he's never coming out.
What do you think happened to Ben? Share your thoughts with us in the comments.